Welcome back, everybody, to an all-new episode of the MCR. We are back. It's been a bit of a wait, but we are back. And we're here to talk She-Hulk episode 1. I am very excited to get into this episode. It was a lot of fun. I think a lot of us messaged each other in the group chat saying how much fun we had with it. So I'm glad that we're all in agreement there that it was a very fun time. But before we jump into it, let me introduce our team going forward for the She-Hulk show. Starting off with Didge. What's up, Didge?
Oh, nothing much. I'm ready to talk this. This is a fun episode, fun show so far.
All right, and you cannot mention the words Aang or Lee at all. Anything you say today.
I mean, I wasn't, so.
All right, just making sure. All right, like I said, I'm going to have nightmares tonight. Next up, Blake. What's going on, Blake?
Nothing much. I had to watch the episode a couple times just to catch all those little Easter eggs that were in it, and I just loved the episode. I'm excited to talk about it.
Absolutely, and there were some Easter eggs. Some of them were things that were said outright. Some of them were things hanging on the shelf behind a bar. So there were things that were definitely in this episode. Next up, Prime. What's going on, Prime?
What's good, people? Glad to be here this evening. Team, let's get green, baby.
Absolutely. And last but definitely not least. No, not last but definitely not least. Sorry, it's two more people. Javon, what's going on, Javon? You know what it was? We just did a podcast together. Me, Prime, Joel, and Didge. So in my mind, after saying Prime, it was Joel, and then we start the show. I'm sorry. Don't mind me. I'm doing too many podcasts in the course of a week. Trayvon, what's going on, Trayvon? No, I didn't forget you. I didn't say. I would have forgotten you if it was said. It wasn't said yet, so that doesn't count. But what's going on, Trayvon?
I'm very happy to talk about this. I love this. Thoroughly love this. I was like, I can't wait for next week. I love this. She's perfect. I love it.
Like I said, She-Hulk definitely sets a high bar for itself as a show. It just continues to get better. What's up, Lil Wolfie?
Lil Wolfie.
What's going on? And what's up, Mr. E? What's going on? Now I can say last, but definitely not least. Joel, what's going on, Joel?
I feel less least now. What's up, everybody? Let's talk some She-Hulk.
Absolutely. So let's dive right into it. Let's start off with you, Prime. What were your thoughts on this premiere episode of She-Hulk?
Man, so unlike I got Blake here, I tended to try to watch it twice, but I only got to watch it once, and that was before going to work this morning. But I'm gonna watch it again when we're done here. But man, let me tell you, I was kind of dragging when I got out of bed this morning. And after watching that episode, man, I was hyped. I mean, it was kind of a breath of fresh air, man. All the stuff we were seeing, people hating on it. They didn't like some of the stuff we saw in the trailers, and I think they cleaned up a lot of it, especially visually. I was worried about. I was like, I think I'll make it just like too funny, like every 2 minutes. There's every 2 seconds there's comedy, but it was spread out. It was perfect to me. I mean, the comedy was right on point. It was where it needed to be. There was lots of drinking in it. Juwaan, you know me, I like to drink. So yeah. I definitely enjoyed that part of it. Haven't really dissected all the Easter eggs, but I did see visually. I did get to see a rest in peace Biggie on the wall in there.
Yep.
So shout out to the Notorious. And I have no problem with the fact that they totally strayed away from a real origin. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it, man. So I really, really enjoyed this, man, and I can't wait for the next one. I saw some people talking about the bumping the Eve at the end. I thought the illustrations were awesome towards the end. I mean,
true.
Somebody's real nice with that pencil. You know what I'm saying? So
100%. There was an Easter egg in that artwork too. There was 2 big
Only
Easter
thing I
eggs
caught
coming
the
out of that artwork.
possibility of some of her possible family members, maybe.
Yes.
But
Yep.
I haven't really dove into it. Man. But
Cousin Chet.
Yep, cousin Chet.
Yep.
But Prime loved it, baby. Prime loved it.
All right, so I'm going to ask you this before I pass on. I'm going to ask everybody this because I'm really curious what everyone's thoughts are. So obviously we saw the ship come down that caused the car accident, right? We then later hear from Bruce that was a courier ship, right? And then he makes the statement, I got to figure out what the hell that was about, right? What do you think the business of that ship was, Prime?
They were looking for him.
Now, why do you think they were looking for him? To bring back their war? Because it's been a long time,
Right.
This hasn't been just like over a summer Bruce left. This has been a significant amount of time since he's left.
Right.
Right? So it's like,
True.
what brings you back now?
Oh, wow.
What do you think?
He's done something. Like I don't know. He's done something. I don't know. Did he piss somebody off over there? Did he leave
Has
some
he-
family back there? Like what happened?
Has he done something, or has he done someone?
Well, he did say leave some family.
Oh, yeah,
He did say leave. He did say leave some
He
family.
can smash something, man. I mean, you know, that's
So,
what
I mean,
Mike got a kid over there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
He was smashing, all right.
Scar. I'm just saying. I'm not going down. I'm not going down the rabbit hole. But Scar could be on Sakaar.
Yep.
I'm just saying, Scar could be on Sakaar. I'm just saying that helmet that he had on his wall behind the bar.
Yep.
He didn't have it with him when he left Ragnarok. So that means he went back at some point, right?
Like,
So
Good
World War
point.
II, something will come out of that.
I'm just saying we could be seeing this Hulk family get a little bit bigger. What's up, Chips and Sticks? What's going on? All right, Blake, I'm going to pass it to you. Not only your thoughts on this episode, but the question that I passed to Prime, why do you think Sakaar is looking for him? And I do think that this is really an interesting thing that they put in here, because we remember one of the things that essentially they scrapped for Taika was that Taika was going to kill the Grandmaster, right? So it's like, well, you not killing the Grandmaster not only is great for the, working out for this, but I'm very curious, what would the plan have been if the Grandmaster did die? Were you going to say someone else took over and now they're sending for Hulk? So I'm very curious on that, but your thoughts on what they want with Hulk, and then your thoughts on this episode.
I agree. I think the popular theory is Scar, that Hulk may have had a kid on Sakaar, and they're like, come back. We're not handling this little Hulk baby. It's your problem.
Yeah, hell no.
No, he's not going to be ours.
Get your kid.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he
This
got
is-
swords and he's strong as hell. Like,
This
come
is
get
your
him.
responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's why they want him. And if the rumored World War Hulk movie that's apparently in the works is true, that would be the perfect way to start it. I mean, we'd have to see the Grandmaster at the beginning of that to help set it up, kind of close off the door for Planet Hulk, and then lead into the next one. As for the episode, I loved it. I thought the pacing was perfect. I loved the references to the wider MCU, and I don't like Smart Hulk in Endgame. So to actually really like him in this first episode surprised me, and I'm over it along with everybody else. But I liked how he was portrayed in this episode, and I think at least by the finale we should see something evolve within him, because he is a guest star. I know he's not going to be in most of the show, but I would like to see him at least one more time to set up whatever he's going to go through next. And Tatiana Maslany, oh my God, she killed it as She-Hulk in the show, just as the driving force for this show, literally walking the audience through her story. They couldn't have picked a better actress or character to kind of be your guiding hand throughout this story. I'm really excited to see what comes next.
Yeah, she a freak too. She a freak, man. But anyway.
For sure. 100%.
Yes.
I will definitely be auditioning for random guy number 3 for next season, 100%. They're like, hey, would you like a check? No, I don't want a check. Have her pick me up. That's all I need. Just have her pick me up. It's like, that's it. That's all I need. Just pick me up. She-Hulk, directed by Quentin Tarantino. I hope you understand the director's certain fetish. Yes. That
Oh
is
yeah, he
hilarious.
definitely loved that ending scene.
That is for sure. But I mean, look, her obsession with Captain America is hilarious, and she's asking questions I never once thought about, but now it's all I could think about. Right? Like, who did you sleep with, Steve? Like we know Natasha was spitting game at some point, right? We know Natasha was spitting game. We know you went back and actually lived a life with Peggy, right? We know Sharon, right? We don't know how far she went with it, but we know she was digging it, right? So I'm like, there's partners that people might not even know that Captain America had out in these streets.
It's also
You
know what I'm
imagine the card game? That's the card game. They're all sitting around, Cap, Tony, everybody playing cards. There's just the guys in there and they talking about what happened. Because the boy knew a whole lot of information, right?
Yeah.
You know, Hulk knew a lot of detailed stuff. I'm just saying.
I tell you what, Stark will be very upset when he's like, "Hey, name the names of people you slept with," and he just casually goes, "Yeah, Natasha, Peggy." Whoa, you like Natasha? He's like, "Yeah, me and Natasha during the events of the whole bringing down Shield and everything. Yeah, we had a night." It's like, God damn, I was chasing her for like, damn, what'd you do different? Like, what did I not do? That's weird. But yeah, Cap, I'm sure has a long story that he's telling all the Inhumans on the moon somewhere. They're just having a laugh riot up there on that moon. Not Black Ball. Yeah, he can't laugh too loud.
He does the little smirks.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
Cap just looks over and is like, "Does he not find me funny, or like I don't know what's going on?" It's like, no.
I
If he
thought I
laughs,
was killing it.
it's like, yeah, if he laughs, we'll die. So appreciate that. Welcoming in Dom. What's going on, Dom?
What up, man? I was trying to finish editing this video for Mike for TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get TikTok popping.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, as soon as y'all said that, I started learning dances from my little sister. I'll be in the mirror. I'll be trying. But I wanted to ask you, Dom. You definitely were one of the people that got a chance to look at She-Hulk to see not the full season, but the first 4 episodes. So obviously, us starting with this first episode tonight. Not only what was your thoughts on this episode, but I also want your thoughts on why do you think that ship that we saw crashed them, right? And which, by the way, Prime, you brought this up with people kind of like, them straying away from how they actually, how she actually became She-Hulk. My only issue with that, because I have no problem with them changing it. At this point, they just fucking change everything, right? You just, at this point, just get over it, right? My only issue was how it happened. Was the strangest way of something happening, right? It's like, oh, you got your blood in my blood. It's like, well, that was a very targeted drop of blood. Like,
it was just how quick it happened too. Like,
right, it was just like
the blood then immediately started turning green. I was like, oh,
right,
okay.
And then I love when Bruce goes, "I tried to warn you." No, you said that shit as the blood was dropping in my blood. Like you didn't say it. Yeah, you didn't say it when we crashed. Like, hey, if we crash, don't let my blood fall in your blood. Like, no, you said that shit as it was already.
But to be fair, that's a weird thing to tell somebody if you're not planning on. Like, imagine you get in the car with someone and they go, "Hey, we crash. Don't let our blood mix." I'm gonna get out the car. Like, I'm done driving.
Well,
with
look,
you.
If you got a big green disease like that, you better fucking tell me every chance you get. Hey, if I sneeze and it get in your mouth, like, tell me any chance you get. If anything that could turn me into a green monster.
At least it was
right?
an accident. It wasn't on purpose. Like, we would purposely do that. Like, in the comic books, it was like a blood transfusion.
Blood transfusion.
Right.
Yeah. That's stupid, in my opinion.
That is kind of.
Well, that's only.
She got shot. She got shot.
Well, no,
yeah,
that's only
shot, but she
stupid.
needed a bunch of. That doesn't make sense. So, like, your blood's irradiated.
Yeah, but
I
I think the comic was going with the route of I don't think Bruce knew that would
his blood's irradiated?
No, that it would turn her into a Hulk.
Yeah,
I don't think he knew that.
I think Joel's point is he knows his blood is irradiated. Like he knows his blood has radioactive properties.
Right.
Just in general, to think like I'm going to use my blood.
Right.
Is weird. Even thinking outside of it may
she ain't had
turn into
nobody
a Hulk.
else.
Was that the only?
She ain't had nobody else.
I can't remember.
Or negative,
can,
in a weird.
Yeah, no, she ain't had nobody else. She ain't had nobody else. It's like
They made it seem like sex education class. If you can catch AIDS if blood mixes with blood, so be careful. Like, that's the first thing I thought of. Like, this is hella weird. This is middle school.
Right. But no, Doms, I just wanted to say that, Prime, because I did think that was. I did laugh the first time I saw it because I was just like, that is. Huh. like so many things about that crash, I was just like, huh. Like, she came out, he came out unscathed. I understand him coming out unscathed. She came out unscathed, right? Just clothes torn up.
Scathed. He bled on her.
Yeah, she was.
No. I mean, more so unscathed of if someone got in a car accident of that degree and they just had a cut. you would go, well,
No,
man,
And she didn't even
that
get the
was a
cut
pretty fucking good car
from the
accident.
accident. She got the.
After coming out,
She didn't even get the cut from the accident. Like she got, getting out of the car. That's how she
Right,
got cut.
right. So she came out of that shit cutless. It was just like,
Right.
oh man. But no, so I just wanted to bring that up because I did when I watched it the first time. I paused it after I had to stop laughing and then go back and see if I missed anything dialogue wise. I was like, this is interesting. Okay, this is a choice.
I thought it made great sense, in my opinion.
No, it's not that it didn't make any sense. It was just
the
funny
way
to
they went about doing
just
it.
the way they went about doing it. Yeah, just about the way they went about doing it. There's no other way to do it because I know your point, Joel. Like, there's no other way to.
I'm just thinking. I'm like,
yeah. No, there's no other way to do it, but it doesn't make it less funny. Yeah. I'm not saying it was stupid or bad. It was just funny.
It was just funny. It was for sure funny.
It was just funny to see it play out.
Oh, this is coincidental.
Right.
It's an accident.
But Dom, I kick it back to you. Your thoughts on the episode, and what do you think? What business do you think Sakaar has with Hulk right now?
Well, I thought the episode was great. Like, I feel like I've said this at least 2 other times, but this might be my favorite MCU show. Like, I like the way that it was a kind of a break from all the save the world shit that we are used to. You know what I mean? And I love a good fourth wall break. It kind of reminds me of Fleabag. I love Fleabag, and I like the way that it's not all the time, but right in the right moments of like, hey, he didn't mean that. But I mean, I think my first thought with the Sakaar thing was kind of, I think, what Blake might have been alluding to. I was thinking like, is this going to lead into like, Planet Hulk or something of the sort? Because there is this empty power vacuum on Sakaar. So a place where he was loved when he was kind of hated on Earth and it felt like he didn't fit in. That's a place where he's the champion. So I can see why, if he goes back, he might stay and we'll get that, Planet Hulk. But the episode I thought was really great. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect. Beforehand, I tried not to watch the trailers too much and dissect it. I know the big thing was the CGI. It's a little sketchy at times, but
Sure.
I did notice, though, for one, they perfected the Mark Bruce Hulk thing. So that's why that looks so good. But when you look at him, he's more textured because he's got scruff and he's old and he's beat up. And then you have this perfectly new, smooth-skinned person. It's going to look a little different. The light's going to hit the skin different. So I think people got to kind of give it a break just a little bit. And it is a show, not one of the films, I'm sure. And the films is going to look even better. But no, just kind of giving it this like Ally McBeal feel. Feels kind of, it's the hijinks and the banter back and forth. And she's real witty. And the fact that she is better essentially at being a Hulk than Bruce is, like at a very rapid pace. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I just as I was editing that video, had my wife watching it, and she was like, "Oh, I like this one." You know what I mean? And she's in and out of the MCU, so the fact that she really liked it, I think says a lot.
Yeah, that was the first thing my mom said when she saw the trailer. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch this one." I was like, "Well, I mean, you've only watched one other MCU thing in your entire life, so why not start as we're heading towards the latter half of the entire MCU, right?"
That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how you do it, right? Just sporadically, right? But no, I mean, you hit it right on the head. I mean, it's refreshing. It's what I said in my short for YouTube, is that it is refreshing, right? It kind of gives you that step back from how serious everything else in the MCU is right now, right? To where it could just focus on just having fun, just like be She-Hulk, right? You don't have to worry about the weight of everything else. Just enjoy it. Be what you should be, which is a comedy, right? And I do like that it's a full-blown comedy, but it isn't one of those things that makes everything a joke, right? Like, it just blends well to where there's certain moments where you can see the sincerity of it, you can see the seriousness of it, you can see the big stage of it, but overall, it's meant to just make you laugh, right?
And it asks the questions that we would ask ourselves too. And he's like, no, you have to be a hero. And she's like, I went to school to be a lawyer. I racked up all these fees. I don't want to be a hero, bro. Like, I'm gonna go put people in jail in the law system. What are you talking about?
Right. And I do love that Bruce kind of had to face something that he's never ever thought about before, because he's the only Hulk in the family, which is, you're the weird one, bro. Where he goes, wait, there's not another version of you in there? And she's like, no, it's just me. And he's like, that's weird. No, you're weird. Like, Scar is just Scar. There's no other version of Scar, right? She's her. It's only Bruce that has the switch between the two. The rest of them are just like, nah, it's just me. It's just me. That's it. This is all you get.
For him, because he's never experienced that with anyone.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's funny for him to now look at it to where it's like, well, wait, is this the fucking me thing? Like, why I get this shit? Fair. Why can't I be the one thing? Like, why she get this cool shit?
A struggle for me.
Yeah, like, why she get this cool shit? But I thought that scene was my favorite scene of the entire episode. Is when she hulks out, breaking the machine, rips the door off, and he's just like, whoa, easy now. She's like, why the fuck are you talking to me like I'm a horse? Like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, is that you? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, you're not fighting with somebody in there? No, it's just me. And he's just like, huh, that's some shit. Like, I cannot believe this. That was just really fun to see him have that vulnerable moment of just like, this is just really not fucking fair, right? Like, this sucks. But obviously I really did love her baby claps. I thought those were adorable. And I love how instead of pushing Bruce necessarily back like a massive wave, it's more like an annoying sonic blast.
Yeah.
Essentially, right? Like, it hurts his ears more so than like it could launch him back.
A nice throwback to Incredible Hulk.
Yes, exactly. Again, Trayvon, another nod that movie's connected. But I do love the callback, like you said, to the Incredible Hulk, but just more so of how things are coming in differently for her, but not really, because like she's learning the strength and how to be subtle about the strength, all the things Bruce kind of had to tippy toe into. She's kind of fully launching into it, right? Yeah. And I enjoy seeing her go through that, and then the idea of her, like when she first did the clap and it did nothing, and Bruce is just like, ha, you suck, and then she just realized like, maybe if I do it repeatedly, it can have some kind of effect. I love that. I thought that was freaking awesome. But Joel, I'll go to you next. What were your thoughts on this episode? And again, are you kind of with everybody, if that's the reasoning that ship is probably there is to send them back home for maybe something like a kid, or just to bring their I don't even really bring much acknowledgement to bringing their champion back, because again, I think we're forgetting the snap and then the 5 years. So it's like somebody had to be on that planet that might have wanted them back, and if they didn't reach out to them then, now seems really weird.
Yeah, my theory, and I don't really theorize much, but
it is your
it is my. I try not to think too hard. But I do, because like we've already heard rumors about like what Blake was saying about Scar and World War Hulk and all this shit, and I'm like, well, if that's the case, and let's say Scar is involved, maybe they'll reverse engineer World War Hulk, where he already left the planet. Everything that happened in the comic book can't be done because it already, he's gone.
True.
But the rebellion could still be a thing. Remember how it ended?
Yeah.
So they can be calling back to help in the fight against whoever the fuck it is. Scar's old enough to be whatever, and that's what it could be. It could
rapid aging.
Well, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. He's the Hulk, first of all, and I don't know how aliens work.
Fair. Fair.
I don't know how that works. It's been 5 years? It could be 25.
Hey, Joel, you know what would be cool? When we get to that part, when they come down to get him, he's standing there with an F them kids shirt on.
F them kids.
Wait, before you go any further, Joel, I want you to answer this from Chips and Sticks. This is comment Chips and Sticks has.
Do you think we'll get another Illuminati? That we're going to get a World War Hulk? I do think we'll get another Illuminati. I don't know if it'll be a connection to the actual World War Hulk.
Good question.
I'd be really curious what would even warrant
That's the thing. You'd
an
have
Illuminati in
you'd
the
have to
MCU
have-
today.
Right. You need something to warrant it, and I think because Strange has experienced it, he'd probably have. You know what? That probably was a good idea. Like maybe it's something that happens after Kang's thing that takes place.
Yeah,
So-
that secret war is what makes him decide. I mean,
Right.
I could see that. I mean, because we know it was created once the Infinity Stones were brought
Yeah,
into
it was.
the
They were already around, but it was
Right.
their decision. They got exposed when Hulk came back. Is what
Right.
happened.
right. Where he goes, I know exactly who the fuck sent me
Yeah.
to that planet, and I want you all dead, right? So
Which makes sense, you know.
I don't think, which is funny because the only reason he ended up on that planet is because his fucking stubborn ass broke out of it. They were
Right.
sending him to a very peaceful, alone planet, and he
Yeah.
said, "Fuck y'all," and broke out of it and landed there instead.
In the most warmongering planet.
Right. So
Or
a
he
lot of that is
basically-
his fault.
He was Alien's Spartacus. That's basically what happened.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, again, like I said before, I thought not getting them during the Infinity Saga, because obviously you were still branching and building some of these characters. I thought I have to see how you implement them now. Because I just love the idea of each faction having an Infinity Stone to babysit of their own, right? Like you got to babysit it. Here's these different factions. We could still definitely get the factions. I just got to see how they do it and who the members are, you know, because two of them are no longer in the MCU. So who do you replace them with now becomes the question. I do vote for one of them to be Shang-Chi. I would like to see Shang-Chi part of the Illuminati. Very weird member to have, but I would like it. I would like it a lot.
Don't know. Okay.
Because of his ability to access a whole nother realm, right? Like to me, that's a power vacuum. I would like to see Phil. I would like that. I very much would like that. I would like to see Shang-Chi added in, because we know there will be no Stark, there'll be no T'Challa. I don't want to see whoever the new Black Panther is.
You're probably gonna get that. But,
You probably are.
Anyway, Joel, your thoughts on the episode? Because we talked about the ship. I think we're all in agreement.
That's where I'm at. But I also think this might be the beginnings of Bruce becoming a different type of Hulk. Because now he's healed. Now we know why he's healed and how he's healed. Before we didn't going into the show. We're like, how the fuck is he walking around with two hands?
Yeah.
And now he used Jen's blood to do it because her blood's a little bit better adapted with the gaming energy to become Hulk, and so use that to heal his arm.
Well, that was what confused me a little bit because he said in the car the inhibitor is what was helping it.
Yeah,
and
but it wasn't working.
Yeah, remember he said it was. Yeah, he said it was still not. It was. That's why it was still
It's
technically in a sling.
It's a prototype.
No, I know. But once it got destroyed, so he's now saying to revert back to Bruce, his arm would have to be back in a sling. Oh wow, I was very confused on what was happening here.
It wasn't fucking
Scared me
kids
for a
during that
second.
moment though. He was taking pictures. He was taking pictures during that specific moment, wasn't he?
I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, he was taking a picture. I was very confused. I was just like, did we just get?
He just got hacked. He just got
I'm
hacked.
like, what just happened? Is that the
That
first
was
time
weird.
ever?
That was funny.
Fuck them kids.
I thought he said he did like this. Like,
It's gonna happen. I'm telling you.
Wait, say it again, Trayvon.
I said, I thought he said the reason he wanted to be human so he could heal his arm the human way or whatever. But now, since he just used her to,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, exactly. Her blood helped.
I didn't need it.
He healed it quicker. He's like, look at me. He's like,
I do love that he also destroyed all of
Her
her
blood.
samples.
Yeah,
Yeah, all
yeah.
her samples. So,
this is too dangerous.
like,
He
you
is
know.
smart.
Trust. Typically, they aren't smart
He
enough
is
to do
smart
that.
Hulk. Yeah.
He's like, my
Typically, they're
blood's
not
dangerous.
smart enough to do that in these shows.
Your blood's
like-
even more dangerous.
Yep, we've learned that. I mean, shit, we're about to get a show called Armor Wars about a guy who died, and they were just like, your shit's up for sale. So it's like, yeah, he did not have any. Wait, say it again, Trayvon.
I said she's still vulnerable walking around as a human. So
Yeah.
I mean,
She is.
she could get cut.
Yeah, but you don't need her blood out there, though.
Well, keep this in mind. Keep this in mind when it comes to She-Hulk. Bruce did say in Avengers, he shot himself in the mouth. and the Hulk
And-
spit the bullet out, right?
Yeah.
So that means in a split second of Hulk thinking he may die, just like that, he transformed.
There was a whole different persona though. Like now she controls it.
But I'm saying I have no idea. I have no idea what her healing process is. So like, if you stabbed her in the chest, I don't know that she just turns into the Hulk and it starts to heal. Like, I don't think she'll die before she has a chance to change back.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
seems
So
like
to a
she still
degree,
has
she's
like
still
a
indestructible.
modicum of where it's still like
Emotionally, yeah.
an involuntary change. Like
Right,
when she got woken up, it wasn't necessarily her thinking about the change, like that waking her up in a
Right.
split second.
It was a
She
reaction.
changed. Yeah.
Right.
She's in danger.
Change.
No, I'm just saying, Trayvon. Like, if you're saying like, oh, you could just walk up behind her, shoot her in the head. I'm saying before she dies, she'll revert to Hulk, and it'll start to heal. Like, I don't think she'll actually die before that healing process of being a Hulk kicks in. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't think by ordinary means you can just kill.
I mean, I'm just wondering, like at some point in the show,
She's
like,
gonna.
I'm dead like that, so you guys can't try me. Like,
I mean, there's gonna probably be a point where she'll probably be the Hulk, and that's probably what's gonna happen. Because right now she doesn't want to be a Hulk, right? I think at some point she'll go reversed.
Yeah, I mean, we know in the comics she was just She-Hulk. So
She
that
was
was never
always
a problem.
She-Hulk.
Yeah,
Right,
that was never a
exactly.
problem. You can fuck with me if you want, but
Exactly.
see what's
Fuck with me
happening.
if you want.
Like, you see this. You want to try it? But no, so what were your overall thoughts of this episode, Joel?
I loved it. Just like everyone else was talking about. I loved it. I thought it was very well paced. I loved the answers they gave. I loved the questions they asked. And I didn't even realize, like, I didn't see any bad CGI moments where, like, looking at the first trailer where it was obvious. I didn't get any of that sense in this first episode. So I'm like, that's really good. Because I thought everything. I think they both look great. And I think everything worked out really well. And I think it's gonna. It flowed well. Like, the comedy was good. It wasn't like too much or too little. It was just right, and within a half hour, which I was cool with, even though we know we're gonna get like 9 episodes, so I'm happy about that. I wish they dropped 2, and that'd been cool, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to say, because Dom, you can agree with me on this. They hide so what you were saying, Joel, about the CGI, right? It's not an issue, right? But they hide it well. So, for example, when she first turns, when we first see her turn, when she's fighting with those douchebags, right?
Mm-hmm.
They immediately jump to Hulk knocking her down and then go black, right? So So there are moments that they hide it, and something just for us to chew on is their original plans was that this whole first episode was going to be episode 8 instead of episode 1. So her entire origin was going to be in episode 8, but they decided it didn't necessarily click, and they put it back to 1. But they weren't going to have this until later on. But they thought it would confuse people that doesn't really know who the character is to wait that long. So it seems like they had already shot it to be later. Yeah, that they shot it to be later, and then they had to reshuffle the deck to put it back. And again, Dom, this is just my opinion, but in what we saw, the CGI is not an issue for me when it comes to
No, not at all.
Not at all. Like, there's nothing like that you look at and you just go, oh, man, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing like that, but there are moments that you look at it and you're like, I could have been a little cleaner. But it's not bothersome at all. At all. You know, I think it's like any project that has, you know, a few things that they didn't put all the money into because they put it in other things that you notice. But it isn't bad enough for you to go, this is some shit. Right?
I
don't
think
think She-Hulk has that at all.
No, I think a lot of times when you see bad CGI, it's normally around like the mouth is where it's the most noticeable.
Yeah.
Because they always, for some reason, want to zoom in, and you're like, I don't need to see her cavities, but they don't do that in this show. So there's not much that you can always nitpick if you want to, but there's nothing that blares out at you that you need to like point it out.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely say, if you guys hear people talking about the CGI going forward, it's more nitpicky than it's a drastic problem that you couldn't get through the episode because of it, right? It's not one of those, to me, I think anyone that brings it up going forward It's just more nitpicky. It's not really a big thing. I am really curious though, why they didn't just go more. Why they didn't go CGI just for the height, but more prosthetic for really everything else. That just would have made more sense, and it would have just flowed better, right? Because if the idea is that she's supposed to look exactly the same, just taller and green, just paint her, paint her, and allow the CGI just to be what makes her taller, right? Not necessarily everything is what's CGI. I think that's maybe where they went wrong. That, like someone was saying earlier, when they do her in the movies or even season 2, I think they'll make that decision to just improve upon that. Because to me, I just feel like you're throwing money at something that you just don't need to throw money at, right? I don't think any of us need She-Hulk to be full CGI at all. The Hulk maybe, but because that's different, right? Because he's the structure is drastically different, right? You're looking at Ruffalo go from this to that, right? But when you look at She-Hulk, it doesn't look like her stature is as defined as the comic is. So I'm like, there's a few things you can just get away with her just bulking, right? Like we saw Natalie Portman bulk up for Mighty Thor. And a lot of that was just like, shit, she bulked. Damn. Proud of her. But Javon, I'll go to you. What were your thoughts on this episode? And do you agree that that's what that ship is essentially there for?
I honestly did not know anything about my child until you guys were talking about it, or I saw stuff online. So now I'm like, sure, that could be it. I don't know. That's cool. I was like, wow, it's random shit. It looks like Guardians-y shit kind of thing. I don't know. I was like, I don't know, whatever this is. And had it so randomly in the road like that, it's just.
That was weird.
This world is different, man. This world is different.
But that's why we were trying to tell you, Trayvon. I guarantee you, whoever was camping saw that shit and went. So, like,
somebody saw it. Damn it again! Oh.
I don't think the MCU world just freaks out about this shit anymore, man. I really don't. I really don't.
They just take a picture of it. Like, well, be ready.
Like, I'm recording it. Like, all right, they just left. No one died. All right, this is new.
Right. Like, that was what they're surprised about.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you killed no one today? Gotta write this down. Gotta blog it. This is crazy. Gotta blog it. But no, go ahead, Trayvon.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. I loved how I liked the monologue when she was explaining that he was like, how are you able to control it? She was like, because I deal with this shit all the time. Like, this is my anger. Like, I have to deal with that all the time. So this is simple for me. And he just like, damn it. Like, he was like, I don't like it. You couldn't tell it. I like how they portrayed it. Like, he's just like, this is not fair. Like, he's like, this is not right. I had to deal with this shit for a long time. When he said 15 years, I was like, God, man, imagine that. You go through all that. And she like wake up the next day like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
he was like,
I did think it was funny when they were throwing the rocks and he got so launched that bitch into space. I was like,
somebody's house is done. Somebody's house is over because the Hulk felt like being petty.
Or not even that. You know, it caused a tsunami wherever it landed. Like a whole massive earthquake just happened. People just
it looked like it left the orbit. That shit fucking sick.
I was like,
you got Cap on the moon. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, what was that happening?
Reverse comet?
Yeah, he's like, they usually come this way. Like, what the hell?
Man, they doing a lot on Earth these days.
He's like, see, this is why I don't fuck with him. This is why I don't go back. This is exactly why I don't go back.
What was that?
Yeah, really.
But no, I'm glad you said that, Trayvon, because we just saw something similar to this, right? With the jealousy Thor was having, was seeing how very quickly Mighty Thor had just fallen into becoming a Thor. And he very much was just like, I don't hope you fail, but I don't hope you fail. Like, I don't like none of this.
I really like. I enjoyed that a lot. I like you were talking earlier about the scene of him trying to get her to change, and then she basically came out of the thing. He was like, "Oh, it's you." She's like, "You're me." Like, oh, like it just, I enjoyed every time they did it, I never got tired of it. I was like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's better. Yeah. But that's fine. I take it. Yeah. I thought that was great. I love that when they were in the office, it's like she had to sneak away to break the fourth wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I like that. I was like, different.
That's very big. Yeah, that's very big. That doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
Usually when people break the fourth wall, what exists around them kind of just
matter.
stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stops. But she's more so like, so it's more so like an agreement between us and her, right? To where we know what's happening. But if she were to say it in front of someone, they would think she's fucking insane. They're like,
man, I was like,
because you got it a little taste of that
Trayvon's
with
right,
Bruce.
though. Even better, he kind of looked like.
Yeah, Bruce was like,
talking to? Like, it was so,
like Bruce kind of looked at it like, you talking to me? Is somebody else here? Like,
I was like, another hour shit.
Yeah.
But
he's
yeah,
like, you do have somebody else in your head. Is that who you're talking to?
Yeah.
Like,
maybe, yeah.
She's schizophrenic.
right? He's like, I didn't have to go through that shit. But okay.
Titania.
Titania,
Mhm.
That was so random. I was like, okay, all right.
probably for a reason.
Us to this place, just no explanation. Hopefully, we get one next episode or something. I was like, why you here? Like, it was so random. Like, and it's like, I don't want to do this. I was like, well, girl, it's different for you now. So let's get to it. Come on, let's get to a change. Be your ass. Come on. I don't know.
Trayvon was clearly fully on Bruce's side when he said, "Look, you got powers. You got to be a superhero now."
Yeah.
100%.
Ain't no walking around.
Now, I will say this, because Didge, me and you joke about this all the time. The one thing I hate about this show being in California instead of New York is that scene would have went a little bit differently. Because when she said, "Girl, your shoes," you know, if it was in New York, it would have been some Timbs. And there would have been nothing more appeasing than seeing She-Hulk step in and out of some Timbs.
That took me out. The show is already ridiculous enough. That would just it took
She
me
ain't
out.
wearing no Timbs to court, man. Come on.
That sounds like New York.
To be
That
fair,
sound like New York.
to be fair,
That sounds like New York. I feel like
to
New
be
York
fair-
people do wear Timbs to court.
let me just say this. To be fair, I don't think any of us has been to a courtroom in New York City. I don't know what the dress code is in
And
New
I'm
York.
telling you,
The judge might be in some Timbs underneath that shit. I don't
Lawyers
know.
don't dress in Timbs.
Like, I don't know. Like, look, you might not be able to swear in unless you got some butters on.
you
I
swear
don't
on
know.
a box of Timbs. That's what you swear on.
Yes, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that might have been something cool to see, right? I'm sorry.
She's over there with Ant-Man. She California Ant-Man. I was like, that's the first thing I thought about. I said, oh, she was over there. Ant-Man.
Oh yeah, true.
It's fair. They're not
San
far
Francisco,
from each other. Yeah, they're not far from each other. Yeah, they're in the Bay.
Yeah.
I guess the only other thing I thought about was the timeline. I can't help but think about whenever they mention timeline, I'm like, oh, okay, so this was after. I hate that I just zoom in.
So what timeline? What timeline?
After
What happened for you to think about that?
when she mentioned, they mentioned about he was talking about I stayed here at this bunker basically or whatever, this lab,
During the blip.
figured it out how to do this during the 5 years. I was like, oh, okay, so this is after Endgame, because I thought, remember we were talking
We
about
were
Maybe
thinking it was gonna be dirty.
Yeah, but the showrunner did come out and say this is not drastically far from Shang-Chi.
Right.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
And we
she
saw
came
the
out and said it's not
images.
far from it.
We saw the images of him in the sling.
Right.
yeah. So
Right.
this is
So yeah, it's very close to Shang-Chi.
all this. So all, like it's like I can't. I was like, so all these things are happening at the same time. It seems like Eternal.
Some things.
This Shang-Chi, all these things are happening around.
In the course of months from each other. Yeah, in the course of months from each other.
I was like, so because somebody got mentioned the damn thing in the ocean.
Man, Earth came back from the blip and was
That
just
may have
what
not
the
happened
hell?
in this timeline.
May-
I don't know yet. Because we know that happened after Shang-Chi. We just don't know when.
Right.
Wait, what happened?
It
after
was
Shang-Chi?
7 days after
The thing in
Endgame.
it,
7
the
days
thing in
after
Eternals.
Remember? 7 days after the snap.
After Shang-Chi?
I thought it was.
No.
It
Was
is.
it
The course
before?
of that movie. The course of that movie is that week after Endgame.
Yes. 7 days. She said
Mm.
it.
What? Eternals?
In the trailer.
Yeah.
Yes.
It says it takes place after Shang. If you go to the timeline, it shows it's after Shang-Chi.
It happened right after Endgame, then like the day after.
To be fair, we don't know when Shang-Chi happened in relation to Endgame. We just know it's after Endgame.
Endgame is the same year. It's all the same year. Shang-Chi happens a couple months after Endgame. And Eternals like probably the end of the year or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah, because she was saying that
the same year.
She was saying that a lot of these events that were starting to happen were within that week. So we're assuming that Eternals has to be within a month after Endgame. I'm assuming
within that year. I don't know if it's within a month. I just know it's the same year.
I don't think necessarily anything that happened in the MCU in this phase is that far from each other. Like,
yeah,
well, Spider-Man was in 2024, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, Ms. Marvel, Thor, all in 2025.
Hold on now. In Eternals, she said the snap gave the energy, so they had 7 days to fix it.
Yeah.
So
that was
7 days.
Again, it's the same year though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, same year, Joel. We're just saying we think it happened in the course of just a month. Just a month.
He's saying 7 days, right?
Yeah. 7 days. Right after the Endgame, right after the snap, the snap where they bring everybody back. So the one that
looking it up now, Eternals would have took place after WandaVision, like right after WandaVision, but before Shang-Chi.
Right.
All right, so that's worth. And then Falcon Winter Soldier in between.
Yeah, in between that.
Probably before Shang-Chi.
I'm assuming it has to be before Shang-Chi.
But either way, Earth came back from the blip and just went through hell.
Yeah,
things just happened like that.
They did very quickly. But I'm with you, Joel. I assume that happened before Shang-Chi because part of me feels like I might have to make a phone call to Wong. Because if Wong did that little fucking fake-ass Avengers UN meeting and Falcon wasn't part of that shit, that's really fucked up. like man's Captain America now, and they were just like, we don't call him. Like, fuck no. Like, who is he? Like, we're not calling
it's
him.
Still early. It's still working things out, I guess.
No. But that's what I'm saying, because you were saying you believe Falcon and Winter Soldier was before Shang-Chi. And I'm saying I agree, because if it was after, I have a massive problem with him not bringing in.
Should be part of it, yeah.
Wait, say it again.
Is Wong bad at his job?
Yes, we know this. Wong is very bad at his job. Say it again.
That they had. Which meeting are you talking about that they had?
At the end credit meeting for Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I mean, they were talking about like cosmic stuff.
It don't matter. I should be on that phone call. The fuck?
I'm saying, what? How you gonna help with it though? Like,
I tell you what, Trayvon. Let me not be on that call, but the world starts to end. Guess what? Don't call me. Nah. Who was on that call? Y'all handle that shit.
Nobody's met up and said.
Wasn't it only like 2 of them on the call? It was like them 2.
Nah, it don't matter.
It was Wong.
It's Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Wong, Captain Marvel, Shang-Chi, and Katie.
Okay, so time out. Let me ask you this. If Stark and Steve were still alive and active, you think they would have been part of that goddamn call?
No.
You out here, goddamn. Okay. Right.
Tony might.
Okay, because if you think
I don't know
they
if
would have
Cap
been part
would
of
have.
that,
Tony
Cap.
probably
man,
would have.
I
don't know
Cap
if
would have
Cap
wanted
would've.
to be there just to be like, okay.
He ain't gonna know what the hell going on. He was like,
He don't never know what's going on, Trayvon. That don't change nothing. That man was on a helicarrier in Avengers talking about, I don't know what none of this shit is. Like, I'm just here. Like, what's an Infinity Stone? I don't know nothing. Okay, all right. Come on now, man. They definitely would have been part of that.
But if you're tracking the energy his damn self. But I'm saying, but Cap, why? I don't know.
Cap off of status. The man's a damn leader. What did Tony say? I just pay for shit. How you not have the leader in any kind of meeting you have? What kind of leader is that?
I don't even know if that was like an Avengers type meeting. I think they were just talking to those 2.
Hey, the last thing Bruce said was
he did say welcome to the event. He did, he did.
Yeah, I mean,
but that could have been the circus of just Yeah,
they got different factions that do different things.
Different factions that do different.
It could have been the circus of being a hero. Like, we don't.
Man, I'm calling
you
Sam.
know it's not Earthbound.
I'm calling Sam, telling them they don't respect you as Cap, man. They disrespecting you out here. They doing meetings without you.
You trying to create Civil War too?
You damn right I am. You damn right. They say Carol Danvers said something about not my Cap. Yeah, figure that out, Sam. Fix that.
Let's not start that.
Not my
I'm
Cap.
starting that hashtag right now, Trayvon. We about to cancel Carol Danvers in the MCU.
No, don't do that.
Hilarious.
But before I pass it to Didge to end this out, did anything else stand up stand out to you, not stand up. If something stood up to you, Trayvon, you let me know.
This show, like, yeah, you go watch me,
right? Just cracking its knuckles.
No, I can't. I like the paralegal that's like championing her, like even just being a lawyer and like, let's do this. Like, you're great. I know people like, oh, they hate about that guy like trying to like take over the case and stuff. Like, I mean, could that kind of shit happen? They were like, oh, I think I can do it better than you. No, you can't. I'm just as good as you, motherfucker. Let me do this. I love that. I love it. I love all of that. So yeah, that's all I got for it.
I'm with you there. Everybody should have a best friend like her. Like, she just champions you. She told you take your shoes off. Let me protect your shoes, girl. Right? Everything. Yeah, you always need a friend like that.
You think. That's right, girl. You think.
100%. You know what? I'm liking this tag team of those two. And now you got to bring Foggy back, right?
Yeah.
You got to bring Foggy back, because if you got a case between these two, She-Hulk got some power on her side, right? Well, she got a best friend. Why can't Matt have his best friend?
Does she go to New York or does he come to LA?
Oh, that's a very good question, Joel. Because here's the thing. If you tell me Daredevil left New York, I'm calling bullshit. Because there's just too many questions I would have.
Nobody got time for that.
Too many questions I would
not
have.
a lawyer helping superheroes over there. Like, I don't know.
It could be a superhero lawyer conference, right? Where instead of Skype, instead of Zoom calling like they did in Shang-Chi, they actually show up. So they come fly out to New York.
They have to know his identity, though, right? Yeah.
Who in the MCU not named Spider-Man has their identity protected?
He does currently. I mean,
he does now.
We don't even know. Look, I'm telling you right now. As soon as Peter turns on TV and hears about the Daredevil, the first thing he's gonna say is, "My lawyer." My lawyer. I think that's my lawyer hopping around.
Lawyer.
I think that might be my lawyer hopping around those rooftops. But Didge, passing it off to you to end this out, man. Not only your thoughts on this episode, but I want to ask you a different question, because I think we all are kind of agreeing on what we think that ship is. Do you have something that differs?
No.
Okay. So my question to you is, we talked about it before. We know the mention of their cousin, Chet, right? Or Chet? Chet? I think it was Chet.
I thought it was Chet.
Chet? With a D or Chet with a T? With a T. Okay, Chet.
It could be Ched, though. I just never heard of it. I've never heard of a Ched.
I never heard of a Ched either, but that's what it sounded like.
Let's go Chet, because I like it more. We do know that in that household, or that family rather, She-Hulk has a crazy-ass aunt, crazy-ass cousin. Aunt that tries to kill She-Hulk, and the cousin that gets some kind of crazy mutation to become this big monster, right? So I have to ask, because the name got dropped, do you think they'll lean into the comic accuracy of that? Or do you think it was a throwaway line? And then your thoughts on the episode?
I kind of think it was a throwaway line, because I think it was just sort of a nod to like, hey, this is kind of some stuff that you can see in the comics or whatever. But at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me, especially with them getting Hulk back, sort of where they can start creating films for him where they're thinking, well, we can go throughout this entire family and just start doing storylines for all of them.
Right.
So I while I don't think that's their thought initially, especially if reaction is great enough, I think that they're like, oh yeah, that's why we did it. It'd be one of those things where they change it after the fact.
Right.
As for the show overall, I loved it. It feels like a sitcom, which I really like. I always love a good sitcom. Like it was said multiple times, the funny moments weren't put in too much, but it always seemed to be at the right moment, which I feel like a good sitcom would do. And just seeing the casual use of her powers, like every time she would use her powers, it just seemed like it was so effortless to her, obviously other than the claps. But when you think of somebody who's been a lawyer for however many years, you're thinking of somebody who has to go in and they have to practice their mind so much, because you're going in and pretty much performing day in and day out. It'll make sense that a power that's based on basically being able to control your mind would be easy to you. 100%. So I like that. And honestly, thinking about how we were talking earlier, how how quickly the powers sort of got transferred to her, it makes sense for it to happen that way in a comedy show because it is sort of a comedy of errors. It's one of those things of everything that can go wrong in this moment to create this is going to happen. And I looking back at it, I like it. I'm really excited for next week. I agree with Joel. They should have put out 2 episodes this week.
I agree.
But, got to keep us wanting something, I guess.
100%. And look, I believe She-Hulk, each episode is just oozing with not only charisma, but just it doubles down on everything we said we loved of this episode, right? So it is that feeling of like, well, damn, hurry up and just drop it, right? Like don't make us wait. Like, this is the thing we all love. Everybody's on the same page of. Haven't really heard hate from anybody. Just drop it. Just drop it. Just drop it all. Just drop it all tomorrow.
Well, that's just us being spoiled. If this was 10, 15 years ago, this would be the thing. It's okay. You're used to
because we didn't know. Yeah, we don't know anything else.
You're used to that.
Once Netflix happened, we were just like, well, y'all can all do this,
right?
Like, you're all welcome to drop it at once. Yeah, you could do it. No, but I mean, this is what I love. I love that we all loved it. I love that, there was no massive issues with it. We all embrace it. We can't wait to see where they go. I said it today on Twitter. I'm a firm believer that if it gets greenlit for a season 2, which I believe it will, it should be called She-Hulk.
I saw that.
Law and Order MCU.
It
should be called that.
I'm gonna let you know.
It should be called
my
that.
My finger hovered over the black button for a
it.
good minute or so.
I want it. I'm just saying.
A lawsuit that would hit Disney.
It would be perfect. No, I mean, you can't. They're just using the words, right? They're just using. You can't use the words Law and Order.
Hell no.
No, you don't own the words Law and Order.
Yeah,
I think they do in that way.
Nah. And then she's investigating like some crazy ass stuff in the MCU. Come on, Trayvon. You never know. Look, if you give me a Law and Order MCU, guess what? Guess what my first case will be? Someone suing the Eternals for big ass Celestial in the middle of where they live. There you go, Trayvon. There you go. Get it solved.
They gotta be back first.
That is true. That is true.
I guess Frank get ready to get sued by herself. No powers. All of them.
I am very curious how they explore some of these Eternals heading into that next movie, but we'll find out next month when we have D23 and they tell us if any or if all of these things are confirmed. But Joel, before we log off, I wanted to ask you, any of those MCU rumors you were hearing about, any of them feel like they got any legs?
The guy got hacked. So
gotcha.
A lot of that shit was bullshit.
Okay.
I felt like it would be because he was just dropping names. I'm like, there's no way they casted that many people already. And I said no one big, but still, it's big enough. They would have been out there. But
and I did want to issue a warning to Owen Wilson, who we all love. We can't wait for season 2 of Loki, right? The way he was talking about his annoyance of having to be so secretive, just be careful, Owen, because right now Feige is talking to the showrunner going, is there any way we can work this character out of this?
They're going to do a real-life blip. Real-life blip. Like,
is there any way he cannot be in season 3? Yes, there is. All right, let's go ahead and do that. So he doesn't have to worry about not speaking about anything anymore. He won't know anything. Say it again, Trayvon.
I didn't know he was saying that.
Well, no, I'm embellishing. He was just saying how, because obviously this is the first thing he's ever done to where you literally can't speak about anything, right? So I think for him, it's just one of those, like, you've never had to do it before, so it's an adjustment period, and he's still in it. He's still in that adjustment period.
And he's a talker, he's charismatic.
Yeah,
man, I'm doing this Marvel thing, and it's really awesome. And then there's this guy that, oh wait, they're gonna kill me. I don't need to say anything.
right. So he is going to have to go to the school of Mark Ruffalo and Tom Holland if he wants to continue to be here. Because Tom Holland learned a massive lesson when this last Spider-Man movie came out. They were like, hey, so Andrew and Toby, and he was just like, yeah, they're great guys. I really loved, seeing them in their own respective movies, and I love them. He was like, no, we mean, like, are they in this movie? He was like, oh, that, I don't know.
He's still spoiling something, too, which is funny.
Say it again, Blake.
he still ended up spoiling something that very few people caught on.
What did he spoil?
That second, or the official trailer, I guess, when MJ's falling and Peter's going for her.
Yes, yeah.
He said he wasn't even in that scene.
right.
And they showed Andrew that interview, and he's like, what? Like, how do you do that?
Now, to be fair to Tom Holland, he could have meant stunt double was in that scene.
Yeah.
But even still, your stunt double doesn't shoot the whole scene. There's some parts of that same scene you would have shot. Whether it's the landing when you had her or something. Like, you wouldn't have been absent from the whole damn scene.
Yeah.
But look, it happens. Mark Ruffalo was just like, yeah, man, wait till you see this one. They all die. And it's just like, hey. He's like, oh, shit. Was I not supposed to say that? Like, oh, they're supposed to be surprised. Got you. I didn't know. My bad. But that's why I'm very upset Mark Ruffalo hasn't done much press for this show. That's the main person I was looking for interviews for, because he was going to leak some shit. They left him out of it. That's fucked up, Kevin. He would have told us if we were getting Scar. He would have told us if we were getting World War Hulk. He would have spilled all the beans. God damn you, Kevin Feige. But all right, guys, that's all we got for you. Oh wait, Joel, Mr. E asked, were you talking about the Squadron Supreme rumor?
There's some of that too. Not just that. There's some of that. This dude had everybody casted already. I'm like, that's impossible. If that's the case. So I don't know. We'll see how.
And just be careful, Mr. E. That is a very sore subject for Joel. He does not
Depending
like
on how they are used, the way that they are rumored to be used, I'm fine with. I don't like it the other way.
Use them like the Justice League.
No.
That's how you use them.
They're villains.
Use them. But no, all jokes aside, I want to thank Prime, Dom, Blake, Didge, Joel, and Trayvon when he was here. He blipped. He talked too much shit. Kevin was like, I hear you. He was like, I heard you. I heard everything you said. But no, shout out to you guys, man. This was fun. I cannot wait to do this weekly with you guys. Seeing next week's episode, seeing all the episodes after that. And again, there's nothing more fun, and Dom, you can speak to this, than when we get to the point of a season that even we haven't seen, right? And it's more so now like, well, ain't a leg on nobody. I ain't seen this shit. Like, I'm just as shocked as you are. So I cannot wait for that, guys. This season is supposed to have some bangers. So I cannot wait for it. Jamie, hello, Jamie. We were just talking about the fact that you should be at home watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So
Oh my God.
we hope you're doing that, because you had homework 4 months ago. So hopefully you get it done. No, jokes aside. What's up, Jamie? And last thing, Mr. E says, yeah, I hear Henry Cavill is going to be Mr. Fantastic, and
Everybody.
Henry Cavill as Mr. Fantastic would be crazy. I'd like to see
Henry
him
Cavill as Mr. Fantastic would be something that would take a lot of my mental state to get around, because that would be a massive fucking Mr. Fantastic. He would be almost as bulk as Ben is. And it's like, that's hard for me to look at. Like, just seeing Mr. Fantastic walk in like this and then go stretchy, and it's like, I don't even think you needed to stretch. I think
basically maybe want Henry to stop lifting, is what you're saying. If you want him.
Drastic. No, they might have to reverse CGI.
No.
Joel, they might have to reverse CGI. They might have to use CGI to make him look smaller.
He's been skinny.
That's fine. He can be big. It's fine.
No, I don't need my Reed Richards being big. No,
I don't need a giant. That's crazy.
It's fine.
That big Reed Richards in a Mr. Swoletastic, yes, that would be his name, yes.
Hilarious.
But seeing all those muscles in that lab coat, no, it's just like
what you mean? That's a look.
That is not a look.
It defeats the purpose of Mr. Fantastic. He doesn't care about looking.
I ain't trying to see that.
I'm not trying.
Yeah, that's
to me, it's
I'm
overkill. If you stretch your arms to become a giant fist when you're already built like a giant fist, the fuck is the purpose? You're now performing, right?
He can overdo it if he wanted to.
Yeah, I'm like, well, goddamn.
Now I'm swole.
Yeah, I'm already swole. I need nothing to adjust. To me, it's just like, no, I don't need that. That's just too much for me to get. Already, I got to look at Jonathan Majors looking like the Incredible Hulk on
like
set.
John Krasinski is skinny or something.
He's not Henry Cavill big.
He
There's
ain't
a difference.
He's thick, but he ain't fucking massive either.
He's not Henry Cavill massive.
Yeah,
He's not.
Trayvon, here's the last thing I'm going to say, and then we're getting out of here. We're getting out of here on this. Henry Cavill is so massive, when you look at him next to Ben, it starts to slowly make Ben look a little smaller. And that motherfucker was massive when he was Batman. That's how big Henry Cavill is. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see my Mr. Fantastic that big next to somebody that's supposed to actually be that big.
You shouldn't be competing with the Thing for who is the biggest muscle.
Exactly. Could you picture?
Not that big.
You keep rolling your eyes, Trayvon. It's gonna stay that way, bro.
Could you picture a swole?
Y'all let me have things.
You have them as
But Trayvon, you have them. Yes, you have them now. We're just saying we don't need it as Reed. Yeah. Because goddamn, seeing Reed Richards shirtless is just like, all right, come on now. What are we doing here, y'all?
That's true.
Having fun is what we're doing.
That's only for Sue to care about. Let's be real.
Yeah. And Trayvon, I'll only allow you to have that fun if the rest of us can have an equal opportunity. If he could be shirtless, there's somebody else on that team that needs to be shirtless. Like, if you want to be fair. Come on now. But see, it's not as interesting for you, is it? All right, then. Be fair. I agree with Trayvon. It's a look. Yeah, both of you stop being so thirsty.
Thank you.
Okay? Before I pull out some water for you guys to hydrate yourselves. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to the MCR's much-awaited return. We cannot wait for next week to break down an all-new episode of She-Hulk. But till then, guys, peace.
F them kids.
F them kids.
F them draft picks, too.
Oh, no.